Hey, what's going on, you guys? Hey, welcome back to another episode with iTrack. Huge shout out to all the iTrack fan, man, tapping in from all across the globe, especially all of the US. Been seeing San Diego tap in, I've been seeing Ohio tap in, New York tap in, Texas, Chi-Town. Man, big shout out to all you guys. I really appreciate that support. And huge shout out to everybody internationally, Australia, Japan, Europe, Scotland, New Zealand, South Africa, Jamaica. I'm talking about all over. I appreciate you guys, man, greatly. If this is your first time here, what we like to do is take a look at the most interesting and creepy TikToks and kind of evaluate for ourselves whether these are fact or fake. Hey, the world is getting filled up with AI quickly, so we got to learn how to decipher between what's real and what's not, what's cap and what's not. So let's go ahead and jump right into it.
If you shot a bullet at a nuclear bomb, most people think it would cause it to explode, but that's not exactly what would happen. You see, an atomic bomb can only detonate when the atoms inside split in half, which then triggers a chain reaction that causes it to explode. This means that a bullet would basically do nothing.
I mean, let's just hope you never find yourself shooting at a bomb, right? That sounds kind of backwards.
Give you a quick update. Kai is a big humper. He's overstimulated, literally humping everyone. And a lot of the dogs did not like it. He is social, but he's more concerned about humping everybody than he...
CIA declassified documents and said that there was a saucer flying over a bunch of Soviet soldiers. The Soviet soldiers shot at the saucer and it crashed. The beings emerged from the wreckage and turned all of the soldiers to stone except for two of them.
That's fire.
The CIA
Fire.
declassified these documents.
Where did this happen?
What you mean? You don't read.
You don't read, Al.
Typical.
Al, you don't read.
You know what that called? You know what kind of that's called?
What's that?
Yeah, and I'm not gonna say in front of you.
You're scared.
Yep.
Scared.
Hold on.
Scared.
Hold on.
Scared.
CIA declassified. It's everywhere. You can pull up a website. Declassified Cold War era CIA files detail Soviet clash with aliens who witnesses say turned soldiers to stone. A declassified Cold War era file from the CIA has gone viral over its coverage of a supposed clash between Soviet soldiers and a UFO. Following the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991, the CIA acquired a 250-page KGB report recounting the events that transpired after a platoon fired at a flying saucer over Ukraine. The report includes eyewitness accounts and pictures of the aftermath, which one American agent described as a horrific picture of revenge on the part of extraterrestrial creatures, a picture that makes one's blood freeze. CIA released that and y'all don't give a fuck.
How about Mercury? Mercury is supposed to be hot enough to melt lead. The basic misunderstanding that we all are infused with by NASA is the sun is hot. It's not hot. It may look hot, but it doesn't broadcast any heat. You'll remember when the first astronauts went up that they made a great point of saying that they had to rotate the vehicles, the modules, to keep from burning up, so that you didn't get to... Actually, there is no heat coming from the sun, so you'll notice that nobody had to rotate. The International Space Station doesn't have to rotate because there's no heat from the sun. What there is coming from the sun is an electromagnetic wave, and this wave is changed from it goes through our atmosphere, and our atmosphere changes the temperature of the atmosphere inside the Earth. So Mercury is supposed to be hot enough to melt lead. No, it's about the same temperature as here, because their atmosphere modifies the electromagnetic wave that comes out of the sun. With Pluto, we're told it's cold enough to raise an Eskimo. It's not. It's the same temperature as here, because it modifies the electromagnetic wave to create the proper temperature on the planet. And it's the same with all the planets.
And they have to have this atmosphere, of course, for it to be like that.
Right.
Male inmates somehow got pregnant without any physical contact with anyone. During the investigation, authorities found out that a male prisoner was locked up in the cell directly above hers. One day, out of sheer boredom, the guy started ranting into the air vent in his cell. By some crazy coincidence, the woman downstairs heard him, and before long, they began using the vent as their own secret communication line. As days turned into weeks, their chats got longer and they grew closer. Eventually, the woman told him she wanted to have a baby with him. They cooked up a scheme. The man started sending his sperm, wrapped in plastic wrap, down the air vent to her. A month later, she was confirmed to be pregnant, all without the two ever touching.
JFK gets unalived, and who becomes president? LBJ. The first thing that this man does after he is sworn in, illegally move JFK's body to Washington so that Texas cannot conduct their own autopsy. LBJ was in deep legal trouble with the Kennedy family. Not only was JFK looking into it, but so was RFK, and they were exposing his corruption big time. Oh, and a CIA agent, E. Howard Hunt, on his deathbed, confessed to this plot, claiming that in inner circles of the intelligence, it was known as the big event, quote unquote. There was a Lee Harvey Oswald impersonator or a body double that actually went to Mexico City and met with the Soviet and Cuban officials. It was a complete setup from the beginning. They've been lying to you for 60 years. The truth is coming out. The files are unsealed. All of these extremely powerful people that could control the media relatively easy throughout time never expected the internet.
MIT scientists want to grow human bodies dubbed bodyoids. Now, these bodyoids are physiologically identical to humans, yet scientists insist that they are not conscious and they can feel no pain. Scientists are stating that ethically sourced spare bodies could revolutionize medicine through things like organ donation. These bodyoids are not only intended to provide medical miracles, they can be used as meat for consumption.
Hey, tell me why that just sounds like an invention we just don't need, like at all. Like, never.
Today, a Michigan doctor sentenced, being called a monster. A day of reckoning for the doctor who diagnosed hundreds of patients with cancer when they did not have it. Outside the court, the tears and anger. He lied to so many patients, giving many of them extensive chemotherapy, which then made them sick.
Today, the U.S. Department of Education said it's restarting involuntary repayment of federal student loans that are in default. Starting May 5th, the department will begin involuntary collection through the Treasury Department's offset program, which withholds tax refunds, federal salaries, and other benefits from people with past due debts from the government. About 5.3 million borrowers are in default on their federal student loans.
A participant in DARPA's Project Pegasus, which was the U.S. time-space program at the time of the emergence of different forms of time travel in the U.S. defense technical community. It's been concealed from the American people that time travel existed as the secret twin, essentially, of Project Manhattan, the atomic bomb project. Because at the time that Project Manhattan was being formulated, and some of the world's leading physicists and engineers were being settled in Los Alamos, New Mexico, to develop the atomic bomb, Nikola Tesla's papers from his apartment in the New Yorker Hotel in Manhattan, New York, that had been seized by the War Department upon his death on January 7th of 1943, were forwarded by the president from the National Archives to Los Alamos, and they're still there. Nikola Tesla's papers were never lost. 25 years later, by 1968, the U.S. defense community had pioneered Tesla teleportation, which is the capability to open up a vortal tunnel in time-space through which somebody can pass. And by the fall of 1970, had found a way to adjust the time of the arrival of the individual via teleportation, backward or forward in time. So I was brought in to Project Pegasus as a child participant officially in the fall of 1969.
I've never seen in my whole life seen so many music stars just start normal and then start looking like Satanic. And that's when I was really like, this is tripping me out.
Right.
Pop people. Doja Cat. She's a nice girl from the Valley. Sam Smith. Justin Timberlake's last video. And I talked to a lot of people in the music business, and they talk about how the frequency of music changed in the early 40s to different megahertz and how it can be hypnotic.
It's so crazy how he hit the nail on the head. Most people thought, it's just for shock value. But no, they all are doing these satanic rituals and, basically bigging up Satan in front of our face, right? That's crazy.
If you start talking like an NPC, you will attract NPCs. If you talk like you are a creator, you will attract other creators. This simulation, this matrix is code. It's all code. Your words are code. You're like a code that has the ability to create code within a larger code. Stop talking crazy. Mind your words.
So when does the AI empire start, do you think?
You're asking increasingly more complicated questions. To answer them, you need to be an expert in big numbers, big data, and AI. Mankind is currently facing many threats. Due to the genetic researches, it is now possible to create a superhuman, a specialized human being, a genetically engineered athlete, scientist, military man.
There's two photos here, and the first one looks normal. I'll show that to y'all. If you want to go ahead and show Chris the normal one, Maddie.
Okay.
Just a normal photo.
Kids in a kitchen.
Nothing's happening. Everything's just chill. Definitely no entities, right?
Right.
No entities in that. If you scroll down.
Oh.
We have this crazy stuff. There should be a zoomed in. Is there a zoomed in photo?
That's so creepy.
That's some ring stuff going on right there.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like you can see the hair.
Smile.
Right.
Right? It's smiling. And it's hair.
It's like
and it even like
you can
it's
see
long black hair.
The fact that she's covering her ear, like she does not look happy.
No,
she's the only one in there that's not having a good time and looking directly at the camera.
Right.
Maybe she's hoping the camera's capturing whatever's talking to her.
Maybe. I would say like that in like the demon that was like in the boxing ring.
Yeah, that's what it gives.
It does
It gives
that.
demon in the boxing ring.
The things we saw on the property just blew us away.
In the 1990s, you were doing an evaluation on the property, correct?
For plumbing. The property is huge. It's a 40,000 square foot property. My buddy and I got to look at everything. And we ended up finding literally secret passages that went through a library downstairs into tunnels. We saw a secret entrance into the back, which just, I cannot believe it, that existed, and tunnels underneath it that we were in. And then at the end was a door that was heavily locked. We never got through the final door. We do know that there's tunnels that head to Playboy Mansions, Getty's, other places.
You also saw a playhouse for children, right?
Hey, so the tunnels have been confirmed. And with that being confirmed, that also says a lot about what was going on back in the day and even now. So I wonder what the next step's going to be as far as all that goes. Hey, but let me know what you think.
Viewers' discretion is advised. So is this why Mariah Carey's sister and mom were unalive recently? This can't be the truth, right? Mariah Carey's sister exposes artist and mom? Satanic sacrifice for Mariah Carey's fame? Yo, y'all comment below and let me know if this is true. This can't be right. Holly weird, huh?
Mariah Carey's sister talks about the sacrifices they would do for Mariah to get famous. Children between 1 to 3 years old were sacrificed, and this traumatized her horrifically.
Would have these big circles of these Satanists around an altar where the people, sometimes in hooded, what do you call them? They were wearing these long cloaks that were brown with hoods, and they'd be in a circle or two circles, one inside of the other, by the altar, where there'd be live children and sometimes babies. So, and that would happen at night. I saw people get stabbed and start bleeding, and it would be dripping to the floor. It was children. The youngest I ever saw stabbed, I'd say he was about younger than 2 years old. And then there were several that were 2 and 3 years old. I can't imagine how anybody got away with that. The kid disappears. Don't detectives come try to figure out what happened?
A great dream to have is where you're given a ticket that is already paid for. Doesn't matter what the ticket is for. Often it's for a plane ride or a train ride or something like that, or for a movie. But it means that your karma is paid. Karma shows up in dreams as a price we have to pay or a bill that we are enduring. So when somebody comes along to you and says, here, I've already paid for this for you, it's telling you that this piece of karma is finished for you. Terrific dream. Not that common.
Did you know Mexico has its own version of the Bermuda Triangle? Welcome to the Zone of Silence, where radios go dead, compasses spin, and the sky lights up with eerie flashes. Deep in the Chihuahuan Desert, near the border of Durango, Chihuahua, and Coahuila, lies a mysterious patch of land where strange things just don't make sense. Electronics fail, clocks stop, even birds avoid flying over it. Locals say it's as if time itself glitches here. In 1970, a U.S. missile accidentally crashed here, raising suspicions. Why did it veer off course, right into this zone? People report glowing orbs, humanoid figures in silver suits, and even sudden memory loss. Some believe the area is rich in magnetic anomalies. Others think it's a hotspot for extraterrestrial activity. Some say the rocks themselves hold unknown minerals. Others claim the area aligns perfectly with other mysterious locations like the Bermuda Triangle and the Pyramids of Giza, hinting at a global grid of energy zones. Coincidence, or something ancient and powerful? Whether it's a natural energy vortex, a geomagnetic mystery, or a cosmic landing zone, the Zone of Silence remains unsolved and deeply unsettling. Would you dare visit a place where reality seems to break? Let me know what you think in the comments and follow for more shocking mysteries.
We know that the planet Saturn has a hexagram, a perfect hexagram at its north pole. What very few people know is that this hexagram has been known about by ancient people for as long as history has been recorded. People who did not have telescopes or the technology to view anything outside of the Earth's atmosphere besides the stars. That is quite the paradox. That's what's been on my mind lately about this subject. It is, number one, absolutely impossible for these people to have viewed Saturn, especially North Pole. Saturn being associated with the black cube, which has direct connection to the hexagon shape, which is a 2D format of the cube, proves to us without a doubt that these people over the centuries from all over the world understood that there was this anomaly at the peak of Saturn.
Between March 3rd and March 10th, 2023, nearly every major platform pushed silent backend updates to their content delivery models. Publicly, it was performance optimization. Privately, it marked the start of what internal flags called the calibration window. The goal wasn't to change the algorithm, it was to change you. During that 7-day window, feedback loops were tightened by 40%. Emotional resonance scoring was weighted 2-to-1, and your digital behavior was compressed, so every reaction became more predictable. You weren't shown more of what you liked. You were shown things designed to narrow your tolerance for what you didn't. Political content spikes, flash anger audio, micro-trauma threads. The goal? To stabilize your identity by agitating it. After March 10th, those changes became baseline. And the version of you that emerged from that window, that's the one they saved. That's the one that trains future systems. That's the you they trust, because it's the one they helped build.
Now that to me sounds like a silent takeover. So the best thing to do right now is hop off them socials and go crack open a book, man.
Breaking news, and by breaking news, I mean this literally just happened last night. But in Vegas, where I live, right outside of Vegas, a 12-foot monolith showed up out of nowhere last night. Now, there's an area outside of Las Vegas, if you're familiar with Las Vegas, that's called Seven Magic Mountains. And it's this art installation. It's this gigantic structure of rocks that are different colors, and it's basically like a tourist attraction, a place where you can take photo ops and stuff like that. But last night, authorities have confirmed that a 12-foot monolith just showed up without permission, was given no permission and undetected. So there's no detection of it showing up. And they have said that it will be removed, but further investigation is going on right now before it's removed. But this literally just happened last night outside of Las Vegas. And it's not the first time that a monolith has just randomly shown up all over the entire world. But I wanted to share that with you guys now. It is on the news. You can Google it. You can research it. But yeah, a 12-foot monolith just showed up in Las Vegas.
No, there's vampires in New Orleans. So yes, there are vampires in the French Quarter, Bourbon Street Be careful. Be careful. Be careful.
You might not believe it, but this might be an actual vampire in New Orleans. I'm sure we've all heard about the story of the Carter brothers that in the 1930s claimed to be vampires and eventually get executed. However, the story with New Orleans and vampires go a lot deeper and dark. Let me show you. In scripture, we find that the life of the flesh is in the blood, specifically in the Old Testament. And unfortunately, a lot of the occultists know about this power and this thing, where the blood is basically the bridge between the spiritual and the material world. And this woman here is Helena Blavatsky, one of the most famous Satanists in the 1900s. And she, in fact, has some relationship with New Orleans, and let me show you. You see the symbol here? This is a symbol of theosophy, and this is straight up occultism, and they work a lot with blood, which, you know, I guess it makes sense if it's Helena Blavatsky starting this out. And I'm gonna be showing you who is also a theosopher. This guy right here is Jack St. Germain, the notorious guy from New Orleans who claimed to be a vampire. Now, the story with this guy goes is his actual name is Count St. Germain, but he tried to conceal and hide his real name because he, in fact, was alive in the 1700s, where he actually claimed to be himself a Jesuit, and that in and of itself is a complete rabbit hole that I'm going to be getting into another video.
This is our planet, not the Nephilim, not the Dracos. The Guardians called them intruders. They weren't invited. Some of these races were actually kicked off the planet before a negative agenda. The Guardians straight up call these negative aliens fallen angels. When you get some extraterrestrials coming to our planet and hybridizing, either through rape of human females, or, of course, these races are master geneticists, so these master geneticists are creating hybrids. Impossible? No, it's not impossible. Are they all evil, dark? No, they're not. The woman will birth this being, which is now a hybrid, alien, human, extraterrestrial. Not just human, not just the original alien, but a mixture of the two. So these fallen angelics are creating hybrids as a military strategy. The Anunnaki have done it, the reptilians have done it, certainly other races have done it, and the Guardians bringing in the Indigo Children. And there's races of starseeds here. This is a spiritual war.
This robot can steal your car in just 5 seconds, and not even the most advanced security systems can stop it. In China, revolutionary robots have been developed that can hijack any vehicle in a matter of seconds. If you think they can't lift a car that weighs several tons, you're seriously mistaken. One such robot can handle up to 15 tons, meaning it can easily steal even a massive truck. Criminals don't need tow trucks or to hide the car anymore. One robot can do it all. So how does it work? First, the robot slides under the car, lifts it using a special platform, and locks onto the wheels. Then it drives the car away like a toy. It happens so fast that even if the owner sees it, they won't have time to react before the car is already gone, headed straight for parts. In some cities, these robots are even used against drivers who park illegally. After that, the cars vanish forever and are never found again. Share this video with your friends so they know what to watch out for.
Hey, that means you better pay that note, because those tow trucks aren't going to be your problem anymore. It sounds like those little machines are about to be your problem. That's pretty wild.
So just for everybody watching, y'all need to check out Ingo Swan.
Remote viewing.
Remote viewing.
Stargate Project.
Stargate Project. You need to check out Project 8200. And you need to type in Galactic Federation.
So they're out there in the helicopter. Frogman hanging down the line. You got the helo pilot, you got the crew chief, and the co-pilot looking all down at the bubble. And as they're about to grab this cruise missile out of the ocean, something huge and round, and what was described to me as black as a devil, starts to rise to the surface. The water begins to churn, very much like David Fravor's description of the Tic Tac incident and the roiling water. The Frogman is so freaked out, he's literally trying to climb the line back up. He's like total Panic at the Disco, right? And the helicopter's like, do we do like an emergency ascent? What the hell's going on here? And right as this thing is about, and by the way, it's the size of a small island and round. Right as this thing is about to break the surface, it sucks the missile down and disappears.
Jesus
and that
Christ.
was,
120 light years away, in the quiet darkness of the Leo constellation, floats a world that's turning heads and raising eyebrows. This is K218b. It's not like Earth, and it's not like Neptune. It's something in between, possibly a Hycean planet, covered in oceans, and wrapped in a thick hydrogen-rich atmosphere. Sounds exotic, right? Well, it gets better. In 2019, scientists found water vapor in its atmosphere. And then things got really interesting. Data from the James Webb Telescope in 2023 detected something unexpected, a chemical called dimethyl sulfide. On Earth, this molecule is only made by living organisms. Think about that. A distant ocean world with water vapor and a potential chemical signature of life. Not just any life, but something biological, something active. Scientists are cautious. But the signs? They're there. Something might be breathing, living, or even evolving under those alien skies. K218b could be hiding an ecosystem unlike anything we've ever imagined. Creatures that thrive in dense clouds or swim in dark hydrogen oceans, far from sunlight and far from Earth. If we're not alone, this might be where we find our first neighbors. Follow for more real cosmic mysteries, because space is just getting started.
Like if you watch the Kardashians, there's nothing special about them. And they're billionaires. Like, yeah, they're cute, they have nice clothes, but the whole show is based on very boring people who are living these extremely privileged lives for no reason that anybody can explain. But yet they're the people that people want to aspire to. You have like a Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra, which is arguably the best phone on earth. If you have that phone and you give a green bubble, you're looked at less than you have an iPhone 10.
Because you get a special color bubble.
You get a blue bubble.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're iMessaging. You can have an old ass iPhone and people respect you more.
Yeah, right.
Like, you're not that poor.
Yeah.
But you can have literally the Galaxy S24 Ultra is listen, forget about fanboy shit. It's the best phone on earth. It's the best phone. It has AI built into the phone that will translate in real time, built into the phone.
Yeah.
It has AI that will transcribe voice recordings and summarize it for you. So you can make voice notes. It'll summarize it for you. It'll write texts in different styles. Like you could say, make this more business, make this more friendly. And it'll do that with AI.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
That's nuts. And it has a stylus. You can write on it and it'll turn it into text.
Hey, Team iPhone, Team Android, one of the biggest debates of all time. Are you Team iPhone or are you Team Android? Let me know, because it's iPhone over here. I'm just telling you right now.
That demon is back. He goes today by the name of... And this demon is known as the Prince of all demons. He is extremely powerful, extremely knowledgeable. He is one of the highest, and sometimes he appears as the highest of all of them. And that demon, his name was Asmodeus, and he also goes by Asmodeus, okay? And he usually appears in paintings as a three-headed demon with the head of a man and the head of a bull and the head of a ram who's sitting on top of a dragon. And usually one of his feet is the feet of a cock or a rooster, a chicken. The name of Asmodeus in Arabic is Sakhr. Sakhr means rock. And rock was his name because Solomon eventually casts him and locks him inside of a stone. He ends up being locked in there for a while and cast into the sea, eventually to come out in this day and age. And today he actually sits as a lifeless body, exactly as described in the Quran. He is sitting in Najaf.
Scientists might have just found evidence of alien life on another planet, with what they're calling a revolutionary moment with their strongest evidence yet. K218b is a planet 120 light years away that was first discovered in 2015. But more recently, they've discovered signs of a gas called dimethyl sulfide on that planet. So why is that exciting? Well, we have that gas on Earth too, but the only way it's emitted here is by living organisms. They believe the best explanation is that the planet is covered with a warm ocean brimming with life. Based on their observations, there's only a 0.3% probability this gas occurred by chance, which is why they're considering this the strongest evidence of alien life yet.
He would cut his victims into pieces and mix their flesh with pork or beef to make hamburgers. Metheny lured his victims to his home, where he murdered them and dismembered their bodies. He claimed to have killed 13 people in total, and from their remains, he made thousands of burgers, which unsuspecting customers unknowingly consumed at his roadside stand. He was arrested in 1996 after the remains of one his victims were found under the trailer where he lived and worked.
The definition of despicable. They need to go ahead and put him under the jail.
Origins of Baphomet can be traced back to the Knights Templar, a wealthy and powerful religious order that was accused of worshipping a demonic idol known as Baphomet. This idol was often described as a severed head, sometimes taking the form of a goat or human head. During these alleged Baphomet rituals, Templar recruits were forced to commit blasphemous acts such as kissing the of goats, denying Jesus, spitting on the cross, and engaging in homosexual and other profane rites. Some Templars confessed that worshipping the idol brought them wealth, claiming that the head prophesied to them, granting them wisdom, made them rich, and quote, caused the land to germinate. In The Dragon Legacy, Nicholas de Ver suggests that Baphomet was a Nephilim, and in the Draconian tradition translates to Baphometra or Father Mithras, also identified with Cain or the son of Satan. Hugh Schonfield proposed that when Baphomet is transliterated into Aramaic and processed through the Atbash cipher, it reveals the word Sophia, the Greek term for wisdom. Similarly, Joseph von Hammer-Purgstall speculated that Baphomet originates from the Greek Baphometus, meaning baptism of wisdom. Albert Pike, in his Morals and Dogma, echoed Eliphas Levi's interpretation of Baphomet, describing it as the magical force of the universe, an energy derived from the union of opposites, which can be harnessed for supernatural abilities. Follow me for more hidden knowledge.
There's an ancient prophecy that claims Pope Francis will be the final pope before the end of the world. And now that he's gone, we may have just crossed the line into something irreversible. In the 12th century, a Catholic bishop named Saint Malachy wrote a series of prophecies. He predicted 112 popes from his time until the world's final judgment. Each one was described in cryptic Latin phrases, and everyone, shockingly, aligned with a real historical pope. The 112th and final name on the list? Peter the Roman. According to the prophecy, during his reign, Rome will be destroyed, and the dreadful judge will judge the people. Here's the twist. Pope Francis is the 112th, the final name, the last pope. But here's where it gets darker. Pope Francis wasn't born Peter, but his birth name? Jorge Mario Bergoglio. And his parents? Italians from Rome. Literally, Peter the Roman. So the prophecy wasn't wrong. It was just hidden in plain sight. Now imagine this. The prophecy said the final pope would oversee the collapse of Rome, and with his death, the final phase begins. The Vatican is already falling into silence. Unexplained blackouts, documents sealed. So, now that the last pope is gone, what's next? A new pope or the beginning of the end? Comment prophecy if you've heard of this before.
Pope Francis died today, but what happens next has been prophesied for centuries, and it's terrifying. The Prophecy of the Popes is a book that was found in the Vatican archives. It predicted every pope from the year 1143 all the way to Pope Francis. But here's the dark part. After Pope Francis, the prophecy just ends with 2 words, Judgment Day. But here's where it gets scary. Inside St. Paul's Basilica, along the walls of the inner sanctuary, there are portraits of every pope in history. But there are only a limited number of spots made for these portraits, and right now there's only 1 spot left after Pope Francis. People have always said that once the last slot is filled, it will mark the end of the world. In the prophecy, the time between the first pope listed and the halfway point was 422 years. The prophecy says that from the middle pope to the last one would be another 422 years. The middle pope was in the year 1585, and if you add 422 years to that, you get the year 2027. There's also something Pope John XXIII reportedly said, that the end of the world would come 2,000 years after Christ's life. If you count Jesus' life as around 27 years, that also points to 2027.
This is what happens to your body if you drink Coke every day. 1. Drinking Coke every day can harm your bones. Phosphoric acid and caffeine can interfere with calcium absorption, weakening your bones and increasing the risk of fractures and osteoporosis. 2. The high acidity in Coke can erode tooth enamel, leading to cavities and tooth decay. 3. Some studies suggest that the artificial chemicals in Coke, like caramel coloring and preservatives, may increase the risk of certain cancers. 4. Drinking Coke daily can harm your kidneys. The high levels of phosphoric acid can lead to kidney stones and even chronic kidney disease over time. Finally, a single can of Coke contains 39 grams of sugar, nearly 10 teaspoons. Drinking this daily increases your risk of obesity, type 2 diabetes, and raise your risk of heart disease. Follow me to optimize your health.
Let them know Jaguar Wright is running down on him. Like if Gail wanted to go to space and waste $1 billion for an 11-minute trip, why couldn't they make it work for our country? Why couldn't they take you, David Spades, the Schultz men, Vladimir Ski, and his wife, who I'm sure ain't nothing more than a plant. That marriage can't be any more real than his DJ career. Charlemagne, the fraud, A minor, and Envy, who ain't nobody envying, but clearly you got the right name because you envy Charlemagne the fraud, who is a frog who kissed the prince so he could look okay. Let's look at the sign up. Let's look at the long line to this guy. David Spades. Schultz.
Hey, Jaguar's 15 minutes then lasted about a smooth hour now.
I don't exist. So they're all characters that I've played, including Jim Carrey, including Joel Barish, including any of those things. They're all characters. Jim Carrey was a less intentional character, right, because I thought I was just building something that people would like, but it was a character. I played the guy that was free from concern so that people who watched me would be free from concern.
There are potentially hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people all around the world that are completely off-grid, undocumented, because they were born, raised, and live in these underground tunnels. It goes so much deeper. Underneath the Buckingham Palace, there's a massive tunnel and like kind of a warehouse of people. It's really disturbing.
Damn.
Now, if you tell me you want some chicken McNuggets after seeing that, I know you're lying. Well, you guys, hey, that's another one in the books, man. I appreciate you guys for stopping by yet again and watching another one with me, man. And shout out to everybody all across the globe for tapping in and watching another one with me. If you haven't already, smash that like button for me, smash that subscribe button, and join the iTrack fam. Stay up to date with the latest, greatest, interesting, and creepy videos all across the internet. And I'll definitely catch you on the next one.